I'm on the Saddleback campus where I had the privilege of serving for 10 years after I was 7 years at Willow Creek. And one of the powerful things that I learned here with Rick when he had 73 or so groups was to be able to introduce a model called a campaign. It ended up becoming the motherlode of all campaigns, an alignment campaign with what was going on in the weekend service here, with what was going on in the small groups around all around the town. We went from 73 groups to this day. These days I just was with the guys, and they've got 7,300 groups now, north of 60,000 or so people. What I want to do is though tell you about what are 5 different campaigns that we have done, kind of case studies, and you'll see more detail on these things on our website and down below. But 5 different case studies of people that have done major fall campaigns. The first one that we did after I did all the 40-day campaigns here with Rick, he went on to do 12 different campaigns. I was with him at lunch one day and we were sitting talking and he goes, how many have you done? 40 days of community, 40 days of the word, 40 days of, this, that, and the other. And 40 days of the word is one of the best ones. And if you've done 40 days of purpose and you haven't done it for a couple of years, do it again. If you haven't done what is 40 days in the Word or 40 days of transformation, some of those are like really amazing. But now we're doing full custom campaigns for local churches. The first one I did was for a guy named Tom Mullins out at Christ Fellowship in Florida. And so they used one of our curriculum and I produced a curriculum with Tom and with the team there. And we launched 500 groups, put 5,000 people in groups. It was like awesome. I kind of thought it could just happen here, but doing a custom one, people want to hear their pastor, who they come faithfully to the weekend services. A lot of people are pulling things off the shelf, but this may be time for you to do your own at your place, or you haven't done one in kind of a more grand fashion. That one was kind of a baby step, but we're now back at Christ Fellowship. We're serving them again. I'm in an 18-month partnership with them. We're doing multiple campaigns with them. This fall is going to be a monster one. I think we'll come north of 10,000 people connected. I'm very excited. It could be way north of that. The other one I tell you is Miles McPherson down in San Diego. Had a great run with Miles, and we produced a series that actually was a capital campaign in his case, where he secured over $73 million in kind of a one fund model where we did this beautiful full color magazine style, yearbook style kind of curriculum that had these beautiful photography, all the life, work, and ministry of the local church, of their campus, the worship, the hymn teaching, etc. And we turned his worship center into a studio for the day, about 50 people all packed on the stage, and he taught in the round in an interactive way. Something is our most popular format. Instead of the 500 or so that we've done as kind of a talking head, which still we went to all kinds of creative formats. This is like the most effective transferable thing for both leader training, modeling of what group is, especially coming from the senior pastor. In addition, we stuck around and we produced their worship team. So now we're producing 6, 10, sometimes 20 worship songs and building medleys that precede the teaching, the small group teaching. And so it's decentralizing not just teaching, but a worship experience. And we always put a gospel message on there and always put other kinds of things on there from leader training and other dimensions. But it was so much fun with that one, and he was able to get 8,000 people in groups. We doubled it from 4,000 to about 8,000. The next one I'll tell you about is a project that we did with Judah Smith. Judah Smith up at City Church, he's just like one of the most creative, amazing guys. When I went into the worship center the first time, when we went up and kind of did what we do as an assessment, kind of a one-day assessment or a consultation kind of thing, met with his team, met with him and his wife, and we sat and chatted about what we could do, and we were going to do this conversation setting. So we did, in fact, that. He got 12 or 20 or so people, some of the people from his staff, young and old, and he taught in a very interactive way. We worked with the team to develop what was the talks, and he showed up and with his skinny jeans and tears on his jeans, and just taught and landed on his feet in such a powerful and hilarious and heartfelt way in kind of a relational series that we did. It was a spiritual growth series that we launched, and we've launched about 750 groups up at his place. He was so much fun to work with. I really enjoyed Mark and the team up there. The next one that I want to tell you about is a guy named Jerry Durman, and his was with a book. We actually did a book called God Swears, and then a series called God Swears. And in this one, we also did this really, a town hall, kind of a conversational setting, and we did worship. We actually captured 10 worship songs on one day, and then 12 on the next day, and leadership training. We did an a Spanish edition and a youth edition. So it was a monster church-wide campaign that had just tremendous effect. I'm going to take you inside and bring back the memories of the very first campaign that we did. It was in the year 2000, called Millennial Member, which I was just talking with Rick about this the other day at the conference. It's just so sacred in what we were able to pull off at Saddleback, because it catalyzed what was a movement around the country. I mean, we started, after I left Saddleback, we started publishing with all the major Christian publishers. So we've done stuff with over 10 of the Christian publishers and dozens of parachurch ministries around the country that are trying to do campaigns. But our heart and our focus is really coming alongside local churches, trying to help them do a major church-wide campaign. This was the theme, by the way, of the pastors' conference, which was fun. But it was right up on that stage that we figured out how to do the first video curriculum with the book of James, and I had to split it into 2 series. And as the pastor of membership and small groups and stuff here, that wasn't my day job, but I found out that if we could put a pastor on camera, and in this case Rick, we were able to launch new groups. That was the key asset in it. And so now we coach churches not only to do a major starter campaign, we call it, but a sustainer series afterwards, and then a strengthening series, and then a seeker series. So we kind of take them up, in kind of a model kind of like that. We don't just kind of, do a one and done. We really help them long term to show them how 52 weeks a year you could do a little piece of video that actually allows you to motivate your people to continue the conversation off the weekend service, and you could actually start groups on any given weekend, not just during major campaigns. But a campaign is always the great way to go ahead and catalyze something big in any congregation. But it was up on that stage that we actually did the first one, and I took a camera from what we call the gun turrets there, put it up on the stage. Rick sat in a chair, and to add a little production value, I dragged a plastic plant behind him. He hid in the back in the green room, and he looked at his notes that were about 20 years old. He taught the book of James in actually college, and he looked at it for a little bit, and then he came in and he basically went direct to camera and did kind of a talking head, single camera, one take wonder. And I laid out all of his transcriptions on the stage over there, and I kind of looked at him and I said, well, in week 1 you want to tell them to invite their friends, and week 2 you want to tell them that it's not, that you want to get them digging the Word and to commit to staying in the Word together. And week 3 you want to get them to do some sort of serving project, get everybody in a role or responsibility. Week 4 you want to start rotating groups, homes and hosts, and week 5, you want them to go ahead and be thinking about what they're going to do next, so that you just don't fall off. There's all kinds of little strategies that we did. And then week 6, you want to tell them to make sure that they just, kind of continue to look to who they're going to invite into the next wave. There's dozens of little things like that we put in the operating system of our print curriculum that we coach churches, so it isn't just, written by, based off just the Bible study or just the topic, but there's an operating system in there that starts and sustains groups that you want to think about when you're putting together a major campaign. Anyway, those are just a few of them. We just got back from doing 2 different major campaigns in Texas with 2 different churches. One is a traditional church, Christ Chapel, with Ted Kitchens, but he's an older guy with a young, a very entrepreneur, innovative kind of style, and has another young gun that's in there with him. But he taught a series on the Reformation, the 500-year birthday of the Martin Luther's Reformation, which was so much fun. And we did that in the town hall kind of format as well, and produced his worship team, which was super fun. Our team has done about 30 of these. They said it was some of the best ones they ever did. It was always cool. The next day, I went with Jeff Jones, and we shot his in a home. And so we were packed in a house with people swinging from the chandeliers. There's just a lot of energy and a buzz in the house. And it was a big high ceiling. We actually brought a small jib in there, and then he taught in the round. And it was just so much fun, and he just did a fantastic job. And we did leader training while we were there, and all these promotional pieces that gets all the leaders to get, to sign up. Because you can have a beautiful curriculum, but you're not able to execute the campaign and what are 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 campaign strategies or small group strategies on how you form the groups, recruit the leaders, assimilate people into the groups, and have these things sustain, not just start. But anyway, so that was just this last week, just a few days ago. But you could see the finish of all this. I just want to say, as your ministry matters to God, that's where Rick finished. just 36 hours ago, this place was buzzing with what was the pastors' conference. So much fun to see what God is doing and kind of renewing the 5 purposes in the hearts of not only the guys that have been there, done that, and kind of just coming back and getting a renewal, a reminder of what really matters and how to kind of focus on the 5 purposes, not just 1 or 2 of the purposes. And then there was a whole young guns that were kind of coming in trying to learn fresh, church planners and guys wanting to make sure that they started on the biblical foundation that Jesus modeled. So anyway, just a little bit of update. Hopefully, as you hear this, if there's a campaign or something you might like to consider doing this summer or fall or New Year, we'd love to be able to kind of come out, sit down with you guys, share with you a little bit of how you could do it with your people, where we could just coach you, kind of like what we're doing with Christ Fellowship now. Or we could come in and do full service like we did with Bayside and the guys up in Sacramento, where we did 4 major projects. We're going up for what is going to be their fall campaign, which actually is a capital campaign in this case, and looking forward to being up there with them. And we can do kind of we call a shadow program. We can do it all for you for a year, or we can do kind of a train the trainer, or just coach you and your team by giving you the tools and the resources and the new strategies to get there. Anyway, until then, just want to say thanks, blessings. We'll see you soon.